Welcome back to Cinema Flicks Music Picks. I'm Davey, your host with the most, the beast with the least. Least I can do today is review the brand new studio debut from Mr. Dave Rowntree. Best known perhaps, well, certainly almost, as the drummer from Blur. And again, radio songs, Dave Rowntree, and it's on Cooking Vinyl Records. This, as I mentioned, his debut album, despite the fact he's 58. And when did Blur make their first record? 1991, wasn't it? No, first record. So 32 years on, he's finally making his debut. But Dave's lived a million lives in that time. So obviously has the massive success for a decade with Blur. Develops an alcohol problem, kicks it. Develops a cocaine problem after kicking the alcohol, kicks that. Starts helping people with drug addiction issues. Becomes a Labour councillor for 4 years. Has a podcast. Has a radio show. Is involved with, along with, was it Graham Coxon? I think it was Graham Coxon. No. Was it Alex James? It was one of the members of Blur. And various projects along with NASA to just, hang out and, say this is cool shit, like, we're going to Mars. Wouldn't that be great if the first people that went to Mars were Alex James and Dave Rowntree? That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? We're putting Blur on the moon. Or Mars. Mars, destroyer of worlds. So you can understand why it's taken him a quick minute to do a solo album, but it's not that he's been without music. Obviously Blur had their own reunion, did an album, which is great. I hate it when bands reunite and don't do new music. The Police, I'm looking at you. Genesis, I'm definitely looking at you. You've had about 3 reunion tours without ever making new music. Although after We Can't Dance, it's probably a kindness on your part. However, being a drummer in a band, you don't really know what to expect, do you? What we're going to get. A lot of drummers have different ideas to their bandmates. Sometimes they come from a different background. A lot of them are jazz oriented, and then when they make their solo records, they're very different from the kind of music they came from. So what we're going to get from Dave here? Well, what we get is, despite the name radio songs, it doesn't sound like flipping round the dials, and we're getting 10 tracks from 10 different stations. It all sounds very much of a piece. So it sounds like 10 tracks from one station, just different times of the day, maybe. There's trip hop, ambient. There's little bits of like Portishead in here. I don't want to say compare too much to the old acts, but there's even little bits of latter day Blur, which is fine because he probably contributed that as well. It's not just Damon. It's not as if I'm saying it's just like Gorillaz or something. That might be a bit insulting, Yeah. Although there's a little bit of political stuff in here that wouldn't be too different from The Good, the Bad and the Queen. Damon's other project, or one of 300 projects that he usually has going on at any one point. What we get here is 10 tracks, 5 aside, and they are pretty much of a piece. As I said, very coherent. First of all, I'll show you the gatefold, right? So, nice. You can see, you can almost see why he'd be interested in the space race program and things, if he's interested in like the look of old technology like that. That's pretty nifty. But this is, and I'm continuing my trend of somehow ending up with everything being autographed. Yep, that came signed by Dave, with a kiss. Thank you, Dave. And here's a nice novelty. It's exclusively on navy blue vinyl, limited to 300, number 203. First of all, don't put that in the plastic outside. that is not easy peel, so you just have to cut it off. Now it's just loose. Navy blue, remember they said that? Let's have a look. So first of all, here's Dave, looking very serious in mission control perhaps. And there's let's have a look at what they consider to be navy blue. Now, how much navy blue do you detect there? I think I can see a tiny bit of blue, but I don't know. I think it's the light's just making the black just look a little bit shinier, and that just makes it look a bit blue. I don't think that's navy blue at all. If I ordered a navy sweater and it turned out looking like that, I'd be like, However, that's just window dressing. Window dressing of the highest order means nothing without the music. And what music? What music they make? Devil's Island, the kickoff, was the kind of advanced single. And it's a great piece in terms of setting the tone for the record, because you do get a lot of the beats and a lot of the ambient stuff that would fill the rest of the records, and you do get a taste of everything that would come. I think Dave's vocals are really strong by not being strong, if that makes sense. He's got a great vulnerability to his voice, but he's very clear. He's not withering. He's very clear and concise. It's not a million miles off talk singing, but that, first of all, that's in fashion these days with Black Country New Road and Black Midi and the like, but it's not a million miles off that, so he's not pushing it. It sounds a bit like Paul Simonon when he does vocals for The Clash sometimes, but he's got a perfectly nice singing voice. And I guess just being in a band with Damon and Graham, who, Damon did almost all the vocals, and then Graham would add some as well, so I guess just being in a band with those guys, just, sorry, no room. But yeah, Devil's Island's a great kick-off track. That's definitely one to just check it out, and if you don't like that, you probably won't like the record. If you do like it, keep on digging. The highlight of the album for me is track 3, London Bridge, which is about his feelings every time, Dave's feelings every time he goes past London Bridge. And it gives us the London Bridge, shining star, light up the sky, I'm on fire. London Bridge, brightest burn, shed my wings, so no return. But then we get into the actual chorus, and it sounds like it should be an infectious chorus, because it's full of las, 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 and fa, 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 fa. But no, it's not Beach Boys. It's done in still a downbeat way. So the chorus, in a very dry fashion, goes la, 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 London Bridge, far, 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 far from the edge. La, 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 London Bridge, far, 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 far from the edge. And it's quite hypnotic and trancey, which, so using la la las in ostensibly a pop medium makes you think you're going to be hearing something a bit more upbeat, power pop, Beach Boysy. No. You get something more dark and twisted here. I think later Suede and things like that. 1,000 Miles is a complete 180. It's a beautiful, depressing love song. It's, I'll read you the lyrics, it's the best way to do so, you'll pick up exactly what I mean by that. I dreamed of you last night, felt the richness in your hair, the warmth of holding you so close to me, smoky incense of your skin, and I tried to reach out and touch you, but I'm 1,000 miles from home. When we were lying side by side, so many things unsaid, the loneliness and sleep, when we're together in our bed, and I wish I could reach out and touch you, but I'm 1,000 miles from home. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you think, what lyrics? Where have you been hiding these skills? Anybody who listens to his podcast and his radio show would know that he's very good wordsmith and very entertaining fella. So, it doesn't surprise me that he is a really good lyricist, but raw emotion here. HK, named after Hong Kong. It's full of loops and samples, and those are apparently taken from Hong Kong radio and stitched together to give a more of an idea of the concept of the original concept of the album, about, you know, this is literally from radio and we're just cutting it together and sticking a few words in between each change just to kind of show the stitch, if you will. It's pretty cool. It gives it an experimental feel that I think was needed at that point in the album, just to say, hey look, we're not just doing, here's a bit of a downer, here's the ballad, here's a lot, you know. It's to say, look, I'm also the guy that does these cool ambient soundtracks, so I know what I'm doing here. Tape Measure, the opening track on side B, I'm not too sure about. I think it's a good song on a different album, because 9 of these tracks are very cohesive and sound like they came from one album. That sounds like a single that came independently. I like it. It's peppy, it's upbeat, but it doesn't match the tone of the rest of the record, and it's the one jarring part. However, if you're going to have that, you may as well have it at the start of a side, because you know it's been jarring anyway, because you had to go up and change the side over, so that doesn't bother me too much. Black Sheep, gorgeous ballad, big pianos, which again, that's track 8. No, yeah, track 8. You wouldn't be expecting at this point in the album, all of a sudden big piano ballad comes in, but it does. Gorgeous stuff, absolutely gorgeous. And you think, you could just do a pure love album, you know, schmaltzy love album, drip it with strings and orchestral stuff. It doesn't need to, because it's so powerful doing it much more plainly, but well, he could do that if he wanted. And then the last track on it is Who's Asking, which is completely instrumental, and that's really cool, because that's almost like Dave saying, remember, I'm also that guy who does the soundtracks and can compose things. I'm not just a drummer who's now singing, and, you know, I'm in the studio with some other people. You know, I know what I'm doing here. I can make music for things. He did the soundtrack for that BBC show with Ron Perlman and what's his name? I can't remember. He was in Peaky Blinders, and he did the score for, was it called The One? That Netflix sci-fi show that was cancelled after one season. That doesn't narrow it down much, because Netflix cancel every sci-fi show after one season. It's a perverse thing they have. But yeah, so it brings affairs to an instrumental end, but one that tells you, you know, this is who I am. So I think although we've waited a long time for the debut from Dave, I think we've got all the facets of him here, or some of the facets that make up the man. I love to hear him do some concepty stuff, especially knowing how good he is with the ambient stuff. I'd love to hear his take on doing some space-inspired stuff, knowing how obsessed he is with that. So, Dave, if you're watching, concept album, get Rick Wakeman in on keys. You know, if you can't go to Mars in real life, go there with Rick Wakeman. Yeah, it'd be fun. Bring back the old 70s concept album, do a double LP, yeah, be really proggy about it. Yeah, that'd be cool. So yeah, Dave, wow, 58 years young and worth the wait. So yeah, and we've got Graham Coxon's got a new project out next month, The Waves, and then there's a new Gorillaz out next month, so it's all sales go for the old Blur guys. And Alex James has a new type of cheese out, probably. That's what he does, he makes cheese. So yeah, so recommended. I can't say it's going to be to everybody's taste, but so what? If you like latter Blur, bit more challenging Blur, if you like more ambient and trip hop beats, very British sounding, yeah, I think you're going to find a lot to enjoy here. And his vocals being quite flat, but well delivered, with great clarity. Never monotone. Always he knows how to have inflections, even though he's not got range. Yeah, I think don't make his wait another 32 years, because you'll be 90, and I'm not sure a 90-year-old Dave Rowntree's second album would be particularly a massive seller, but we'll see what happens in 32 years or so. Anyway, as usual, 15 minutes to talk about one record, but it's a new record, so it's worth it. And who the hell's talking about these kind of records on here? So, thank you very much for watching. Stay very safe out there, and as always, love and mercy.